Good morning, Mega. Good morning, Kimpana.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
Good, sir.
Good morning, sir.
So, how was your day yesterday?
Good, sir. It was good.
We'll just wait for 2 minutes for Romeo to join and we'll start.
Okay, sir.
Good morning, Soumya.
Good morning, Gaurav.
Waiting for you all.
So, the Zoom was downloading, not sure,
Yeah.
took some time.
So, we'll start.
I guess so.
And sorry about yesterday. We finished our session abruptly because of there was a power failure at home and recording started. That means recording preparation started immediately after that.
Yeah, that's it.
Just give me 1 minute and I will start sharing my screen. So at the same time, did you get any chance to go through, run some commands and validate things? Anyone?
Yeah, Gaurav, I tried for a shorter period of time, I tried some comment.
Megha?
Sir, I was having some work, so I was not practicing.
And what about you, Megha?
I practice some of the. Hello.
Yes?
I practiced
So you
some of the
practice.
commands.
Okay. Any issues you faced?
No, sir. Have to practice a lot.
Yes. Initially, it requires a lot of practice, but just maybe 2-3 weeks, if you can give some dedicated time, that would be enough.
Sir, this log, file we have to rename it, sir. Base name. We tried to change the file name, like my file.txt to file my.log.
Mm-hmm.
We tried or we thought it will be assigned.
That is not, you're not able to do that, right?
No, sir.
Okay, that's I'll tell you how to do that. Sure. So you can see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Gaurav.
So, uh, so for that base name thing, Megha will come little later. Will that be fine?
Okay, okay.
So yesterday we were talking about the grep command, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
we started with in grep we started with the regular expressions, right? And we spoke about there are two kinds of regular expressions. One is the basic regular expressions, and second one is the extended regular expressions. So we were talking about the basic regular expressions. And the first requirement that we had seen was to go to uh, so, so in grep we spoke about some of the basic steps yesterday, right? If you have to select some record based on some pattern, so we could select some specific records, right? So was there any questions on that? Any confusion before I move to regular expressions?
Oh, we do.
Okay. So let's start with the regular expressions. Okay. Now suppose my requirement is I want to search all the records which starts with M. Uh, I want to search out all the records which start with a character called M. Means I want to look for the starting of the record. So if you say grep M and then you say emp.txt, then it will what will it do? It will print me all the records which have M, right? But my requirement is I want to get only those records which start with them. So in that case, you use the caret. Caret means start of the record, beginning of the record or beginning of the line. Okay. So it will print you only those records which start with M. Make sense? So
Yes,
caret means beginning of the record. Suppose I want to search all the records which start with, let's say, Ravi, which start with Ravi. Then you would say caret Ravi. So it will print me all the records which start with Ravi. It's not just character, means you can give any string after that. Suppose I want to print all the records which end with 4 zeros. Okay. I want to print all those records which end with 4 zeros. So in that case, you have a symbol called dollar. Dollar means end of the record, right? Suppose I say grep, I want record ending with 40, 4 zeros and then dollar. Yes. So it says, okay, I'm looking for all the records which have 4 zeros. Dollar. Dollar means end of the record. Yes. Um, Let me add some records here, and then we can put, let's say I will add Anil colon. He is a developer. He is in IT, and let's say here it is date is there. Let's say if I put all zeros after that, and his salary is 16, 5, 7, 50. So if you just say 4 zeros, it will print this record. Okay? But if you say dollar, then it will print only the records which are ending with 4 zeros.
If the record has the 4 lakh, because in with the 4 zeros, so there.
Pardon? Can you repeat that?
Sir, if the value is 4 lakh,
Mm-hmm.
means 5 zeros will be there, no?
Yeah, it will still match 4 zeros because 4 zeros followed by the end of the line, right? End of the record.
Okay,
So
then
it will,
also it will
yeah.
match.
So I will show you here. Let's say I'll have it one more zero. And when you say this, it will match only 4 zeros. The fifth zero is not matched because you can see the red color, right? It is just matching these 4 zeros and then followed by the end of the record. Okay. Now let's come. Suppose I want to search for get emp.php. I want to search for one second. Let's say this is developer management. I'm just taking some example. Suppose I want to print all the records which uh, I want to print all the records which have a word, okay, which have a word that starts with man. I want to print all the records which start. I want to print all the records in which there is a word which starts with a man. Okay. So if I say grep man and I say emp.txt, what will it do? It will search me all the records which have a man into this, right? This particular word is not starting with man, but still it is coming into this place, right? Output. I do not want to display this. I want to display only those records who have a word that starts with man. Getting this point? In that case, you would say uh, less than. Okay? So it means that I want to look for all the records who have a word that starts with man, right? So now this Anil is gone out of the equation because this word does not start with man. It starts with developer, right? Man is in middle of the word. So that is why this record is not picked up. Make sense? Yes.
Yes, sir. So
Suppose
if we want the man in the first only, then we will use the
yes,
character.
yes. I want to search for all the men. I want to search for all the records which have a word starting with man because man can be anywhere in the word also, right?
Uh,
Yeah. So
if
you have a
we,
yes. Go ahead.
if we want that man should be in the first only, then we will use the caret symbol, sir.
Right. Then we will use this symbol less than sorry backward slash and less than symbol.
Okay.
Suppose you want to search all the records which end with uh, which end with let's say GER. Okay. Let's see how it is. Grep GER emp dot txt. Okay. So basically all these have. Let's look at ER. Okay. So what I want to print all those records which have a word that ends with ER. Okay. So here you have ER somewhere in the middle of the word, or it may be in the beginning of the word. I don't want to print those records, right? I want to print only those records which have a word that end with ER. In that case, I would say ER and I will put greater than symbol, and before that I will put the backward slash. So it means that I am looking for all the records from the file which have a word ending with ER. So in this case, now again, developer management is out of equation. It's not coming up in the output. Only those records are coming which have a word ending with ER. Make sense? Yes.
Yes, sir.
This is how that emp.txt. Right? Now let's say, okay, so let me put it here, less than some word, okay, or I'll say, you can say, uh, match all records that have a word starting with HTML. And similar thing we can say for end of the match all records that have a word ending with HTML. Yeah. Now, suppose there is another regular expression character dot. Dot means dot means single character. Okay. And any character. Here dot means single character and any character. So let's say I want to print all the records from emp.txt, which second character is A, where second character is A. Right? I want to print only those records which have a second character as A. So how would I write the expression? I would say grep starting of the record means caret, right? First character can be anything. Second character should be A. Make sense? So when I say I want to print all those records where second character is A, it means that I'll say caret, it means starting of the record. First character can be anything, that is single dot, and second character should be A. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Suppose you want to select something like um, where you want to match, let's say,
G at the third position.
pardon?
Can we do G at the third position?
Yes, you can do that. Okay. So you want to do E at the third position, right?
Yes, sir.
So E is not there in the third position for any record.
G.
G. Okay. So you can simply say
Regex.
like
Double.
caret double dot G.
Okay.
Right? So it will print. First two characters can be anything. Third character should be G. There is another wild character is here for regular expression is a star. Okay. A star here it has a different meaning. So star means um, zero or more occurrences of previous character. Okay. It means that previous character, whatever it is, it can have zero or more occurrences. Yeah. Suppose I want to print all the records which have at least 2 hours together. At least 2 hours. Okay. So in that case, you can say GREP. First hour is mandatory, right? Second hour you can say with star. Or let's say third hour, because star means zero or more occurrences of R, right? So this expression will match what? Either double R or triple R or 4 times R or 5 times R or n times R. Make sense? So here it is matching multiple R's. So star means zero or more occurrence of previous character, not string, only character. Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Now suppose what I do is I want to print all the records which have HR, okay, but not HR kind of scenario. You're getting this point? I want to print all those records which have HR, but not H multiple R's. How can we do that? We can say here grep. First you can say HR emp.txt. So what will it match? It will match all the records which have HR and all these records. Now I want to remove this, right, which have multiple R's. In that case, what would you do? Just give me some thoughts.
W.
Pardon?
W.
W. Okay, that is one option. What can be the other option?
Star.
Yeah, star, but how would you use the star? You can use,
HR star.
you can say one more R and say star, not one R, 2 R's, right? Because at least you need 2 R's to negate this, right? And then you would use V, reverse, right? If you just say like this, what will it go to print? This one, right? But if you say V, then it will print, I think, everything else, right? Yeah, everything else. So what is the better option? You say one is W, second is you print all HRs, and then you use the pipe here. Okay. And again you do the grep, and there you say V HRR star. Make sense? The output of this command, sorry, the output of this grep will become the input for this grep, right? This is the pipe I'm using. So the output of this grep is what? These two records. So these two records will be sent to here, and it will look for all the records, reverse of HRRRR, right? So it will be, I think, yeah, 3 R's. And then it will print me just this. Make sense? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Any questions on this?
No.
No?
No, sir.
So this is, when you are writing your expressions, you may have to think multiple things. So when you said grep -w, right? It is also a good option in this case. But let me modify emp.txt, right? If I have HRT, okay, and here I have HRT, right? In that case, your W may not work, right? So in that case, your W may not work. Or yeah, uh, because this will also not be matched, because this is HR is not a HRT is a complete word. HR is not a complete word, right? So in that case, let me try with W once. Show you once. Okay, nothing is shown. Now if we try with this option where we are looking for HR, but we are reversing, we don't want to print multiple R's, right? In that case, you will see this out. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
So based on different scenarios, data conditions, you might have to write different kind of expressions. So this is your star, right? Now, there is another basic regular expression, that is your character class. Okay. Character class is same as we had spoken earlier. So it's a single character from the list. What is there inside the character class? You have everything, range and everything. And there you use a caret also inside caret. You are using inside big bracket. It means that it negates, right? Just like we have learned earlier. So this caret symbol and this caret symbol, they have two different meanings. Make sense? So let's say if I say cat emp.txt, I want to print all those records which start with M or S. Okay, M or S. Then in that case, what would you say? Grep MS, right? So let me say it starts with MS, right? So caret outside. It means starting of the record it starts with M or S. One character. Make sense? Suppose I want to print all the records which do not start with M or S. Then you would put another
Inside.
caret. So these two carets which you are seeing, they have two different meanings. This caret means beginning of the record, and this caret means negating the character M or S. It means I want to print all those records which do not start with M or S. Yeah. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Suppose what I do now here is I will add some blank lines here. Okay. And when I'm adding this blank line, here I'll add some spaces, some tab characters, some spaces. Okay. Now, this is your emp.txt. What I want to remove the blank lines from my file output. Can I remove my blank lines using the grep? Yes, no? So what do you mean by a blank line? Just try to understand it. What is a blank line? It has two meanings, right? One is it has no characters, right? It has no character. Second, it has some white spaces or tab characters, right? So that is the meaning of your blank line, right? So let's look at this. It has no character. What does it mean when it has no character? It means that the starting of the line is immediately followed by the end of the line, right? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So starting of the line is immediately followed by the end of the line. It means there is no character in between. So that can be your expression to figure out the blank line, right? So if I say grep, so this can be my expression, right? I can say emp.txt. So what it is going to do, it is going to print only the blank lines. It is going to print me the blank lines. I do not want the blank lines, so I will use -p. I want all the records which do not have a blank line, right? So now it has not shown me those two blank lines where I did not have any white space or tab characters. Make sense? Now,
Yes.
yeah, now I want to remove these blank line also, which have multiple tab characters or multiple white spaces. How to remove this? In that case, you would say that, okay, the expression would be after starting of the line and in between the line, starting and end of the line, we have either space character or tab character, right? Then I will use big bracket. Here I will say space character and then I will say the tab character, right? Any one of the characters, uh, 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 dot, sorry, space character or tab character. And then if I say star, what does it mean? There can be one or more space or tab characters. Sorry, zero or more, right? If it is zero, then your expression will be like caret dollar, right? It means blank line, which doesn't have any white space or tab characters. If it is 1, it means it can be either just white space, or there can be multiple white spaces, right? Or there can be single tab, or there can be multiple tab, right? Single tab or multiple tab, or there can be any combination, because any one character 0 or more times. So for every character it will match. Make sense? So we'll try this expression to remove all the blank lines which may or may not have white and tab characters. Any questions on this expression?
No.
No, sir.
Yeah. So you would say grep. I want to search record which starts with caret, ends with dollar. In between, I have a white space or a tab. I don't know if it has taken my tab character or not, but it is a tab and start. Right? Sorry, I need to give the file name also. Right? And now if I say -v, it is still showing because it has not accepted my caret character, tab character. Let me try it again. It is not taking, so I will use tab. For tab, it is a /t. Okay, so either a white space or tab character. Now if I say this, it will print me, and I will say me. So it is not taking basically tab characters for me for some reason, right? Some setting is not right in my machine. But if you try it in your dev environment, right, you will find it working.
For white space, what we have to do?
Which one?
For the white space, how to give the white space?
Just
We
press
have to.
space bar.
Okay.
Just press the space bar. Okay. Usually it takes your, when you press tab button in your keyboard, it accepts it. But here it is not accepting. Or let me do one thing. I'll copy it from here if it takes, right? This expression itself I'll copy. It is still not taking that tab. But does it make sense? This concept, does it make sense if you have to remove the blank lines?
Yes.
Yes. The blank line will always have either space or tab characters. So those you can remove using this regular expressions. Suppose suppose I want to print all those records which starts with Jagan. Okay. So for Jagan, there are two records, 35,000, 35,000. Let me modify this. Okay. So this one is, let's say, 45,000. So what I want to print all those records which start with Jagan and end with 45,000. right? I want to print all those records which start with Jigan and end with 45,000. Can we do that? If we say grep, start is with Jagan, right? And if I just say emp.txt, it will print me all the records which start with Jagan. But I want to print all those records which start with Jagan and end with 45,000. So to end, you would say it would end with 45,000, right? You would say $45,000, right? It should start with Jagan and end with 45,000. But in middle, there can be anything. Now, how to express this? If I just print like this, it will not give me any output. But I need to say here, in between, there can be anything, any number of characters and any characters. How to say that? In that case, we'll say dot. Dot means single character. There can be any character. And then I'll say star. It means that there can be any character and any number of characters. Right? So it will cover everything else. You are getting this point? Yes?
Yes.
Right? So you are saying dot. These are your, regular expression characters. You can use it like this. Right? So this is matching your entire expression. Yes? It says starting of the line, it says ending of the line, and it says anything in between these two starting and the end of the lines. Any issues, questions?
No.
So these are some of the very basic regular expressions that you can use in your with your grep command in your regular expressions in Unix. Okay. Now there are some extended regular expressions. Now what is an extended regular expression? So in extended regular expressions, there are two additional characters, right? One is a plus. Plus means one or more occurrences of previous character, right? So here we had star. Star said 0 or more. Plus says 1 or more. Okay. And second one is your question mark. Question mark says 0 or 1 occurrences of previous character. Okay. So these are two, extended regular expressions, plus and question mark. Yeah. So let's say if I have to write, and again, these extended regular expressions, they only work with grep. Okay. Or grep -e. Okay? You cannot use extended regular expression with the grep command. So if let's say my earlier I had taken one example, right? Where yeah, this example, right? Where I was saying that I want to print all those records. Let's say I'll remove it. I want to print all those records which have HR and they have multiple R's after R, right? That's where I said R star. The same expression if you have to write, you can write with this single R and plus. You're getting this point? Here what we are saying is plus means one or more occurrence of previous character. It means either at least one R or multiple R's. But in that case, you have to use the E grep. Make sense? Yes. If you don't want to use E grep, then you can use capital E. But if you don't use E grep or capital E, right, it will not present. It will try to find HRR plus whole string. Plus is not plus here it is treated as a plain character. Make sense?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now let's look at the question mark. Okay. So this is I'll modify this emp.txt. It is not looking at code. Now let's say okay. So now let's say I want to what example should I give for question mark? I'll think about this example for question mark and I'll come back on that, okay? Because I need to make some use case for this. Okay? So give me some time. I'll talk it maybe tomorrow on this. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
But do you have any other questions on this?
No, sir.
No? No. Okay. So let me try maybe. Let me create one file names.txt and let me say hmm, other one, AGGA. Let's say I have these many records. Okay. And what I want to print all those records which have one or two G's, not more than two G's after A. Okay. I want to print all those records which have one or two G's after A. Right. So how to print this? And after one or two G's, there can be A or R. Okay. This is the requirement. So we'll say grep and we will use E grep and we will say start should be with A, G, right? And then you say G question mark. It means that 0 or more occurrence of G, right? Either this G doesn't exist, or if it exists only once, right? And then it should have either A or R, or A or R. You're getting it? It's a mix of multiple expressions, regular expressions. Yeah. I'm looking for all the records which starts with AG. Second character, third character can be G or it may not be G. So third character I'm saying G, 0 or more occurrences of G. And after that G, I want to have either A or R, right? Then I am searching one of the character A or R. Yeah. From the file names.txt. Make sense?
Yes.
So basically here, what you are trying to do here is you are trying to limit the occurrence of G one or twice. Yes. Any confusion there?
No.
Suppose what I want to print uh, I want to print uh, all the valid Agarwals, these four, not this, right? And how I want to make it sure is my requirement is I want to look at a record that it should start with A, G. Third character can be G or it can not be a G. Followed by it should have either A or R. Followed by again A or R, right? And then it should end with WAL. It means that, let me modify this file. I say like this. A, G, R, P, A, WAL. It's something like this. And I have A, G, A, R, W, AAL. Okay. So I have something like this. What I want to print only those Agarwals. Here I'll write it. Requirement is start with AG. Okay. Then third character can be G. Right. Third character, can or cannot be G. And this G should be followed by A or R. Again, A or R should be followed by A or R, and should end with WAL. You're getting this point? So here what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to start a string or line with AG. So what will I say? GREP, or I'll say eGREP. It should start with AG. Okay. Then it is saying third character can be G or it cannot be G. So you say G question mark. So third character can be G or not G. Because correct question mark means zero or one occurrence of previous character. Right. Then it says G should be followed by A or R. After G, we should have A or R. Right. Now that character A or R should be followed by another A or R. Right. So you would say another A or R. And it should end with WAL. And it should end with WAL. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is how you will write your expressions. Oh, sorry, I didn't give the file name. Names.txt. So it will not print those erroring records. So, so again, this is something we need to practice before we can say yes, we can do that. So this is your grep command. That is what I wanted to talk to you. Okay. Any questions on grep?
No, sir.
No, sir.
So SAD and awk, as I said, we'll talk in the end. Once we are done with shell scripting, then we'll start on first SAD and then we'll continue in the awk. Okay. So yeah, so this is I want to talk on grep. So we have one line options, caret, dollar, star, dot, character class, plus question mark and grouping pattern. So grouping pattern also you can use, right? So what is a grouping pattern is? Uh, Grouping pattern is something like, so here, let's say the same requirement, okay? The same requirement, and I can write it into a different way. Grouping means you put the, you know, a small parenthesis, and you say uh, it can be. So basically, what it means that you are saying that I want to start one search starts with AG, third character can or cannot be G, followed by AR or RA. Okay. So basically, you are saying AR or RA. So here you are not writing your expressions like that. So it's just one string. It's not character. It's not checking at character level. It's at string level. It's checking it should be AR or RA, and then that should be followed by WAL. Yes. So let me give you this example on EMP table. Okay. Suppose what I want to print all those records which have you understand this pipe symbol, right? Because when I spoke about uh, extended regular expressions yesterday, sorry, extended grep, then we spoke about this pipe symbol, right? This pipe symbol says or, right? One of those things, right? The same thing is here that we spoke yesterday. Its only thing is it's inside the expressions. Right? When we use grep hyphen E, capital E, and we said either this expression developer or DevOps, right? Same kind of scenario. It is with the regular expression. But when this you can put inside the bracket, so that is where it's saying within the expression, if you want to divide, based on either this string or that string. So let me say I want to print all those records which okay. I'll take a simpler example. Suppose I want to find all those records which have either A:M or A:R, okay, or A:D, okay, A:M or A:D, one of those. So one way is you can say is grep -e A:M. It's yesterday's thing, right? Or you can say A:D, right? This is one way of writing, or you can write it in such a way that you just say grep, right? And then here you say 5A:D. Oh, capital E, sorry, it's a small e. Make sense? Either this way, or you can put it into this grouping, that it's a grouping where you want to group, and basically if you say this, you'll get the same output. But grouping basically used when you have something before and after also, right? Something before, let's say if I say um, it should have, let's say, uh, it should have, let's say, uh, G as a third character, right? So you say third character is G, okay? And you have something in the end also. It should, uh, after that, it should have, let's say, AN, something. You're getting it? So basically, you are saying that I am looking for a line which starts with the third character is G, okay, where the third character is G, and then G is followed by either A:M or A:D, and then I have AN after this, right? So basically this one. So third character is GMEG, right? Okay, so after that there is a H also, so we can say GH, right? So it will print one record. Make sense this one? So basically you can group it, means multiple expressions. Any questions there? I know it's little, it will take some time to understand, require a lot of practice, but with this explanation, if you have any question, you can ask.
No.
So this is your grouping pattern. You can group them using the small brackets. And when you group,
Actually,
it's a string
this,
table. Yes, yes, go ahead.
actually this grouping is better for
Yeah,
this agrawal, right? So
right.
because if we have GGAA,
Mhm.
Then above which we executed will execute okay.
Mhm.
Right, Nasser?
Yeah. So it
Yeah.
depends actually. It depends. Okay. It's completely
Yeah.
on your right. How you
Yeah.
want to write your expression. Right. So there are multiple ways to write maybe to reach to the same output, but yes, you need to understand because sometimes means in this case it is working fine, but as I showed you that example, right? Uh, when we had multiple hours after a char, right? So if I use -w, right, then that may or may not work in all the scenarios. So you may have to think some alternative ways because when you get a file and you have some requirement and you say, okay, I'll write one expression, that expression may exactly work. If that doesn't work exactly as per your requirement, you might have to change your expression. You have to totally, rewrite your expression. Modification may not work. That's what I want to say here. Yes. Any questions?
No.
No, sir.
No, sir.
So this is what is the grep command. Now, let's move into another topic on Unix file management. Okay. So we'll talk about the file management now. Now, we know, we understand, right, at the file attributes. So, for example, when I say ls-ltr, I look at all these attributes. We understand what does it mean, right? We understand bit by bit of it. What does it mean,
Yes.
right? Now we will try to focus on the permissions side. How are those permissions work for you, and how can you change those permissions, and what does those permission mean, right? So before that, there are three kinds of users, right? You know that, right? Three kinds of users in Unix. One is the owner who has created the file. Second is the group member, and third is the other, right? So other means anything outside your group. Now, there are three kinds of permissions, right? One is read permission, write permission, and execute, right? This is read permission. This is write permission, and this is your execute, right? So before I go a little inside and we talk about what these permissions, how how do these permissions work, right? We need to understand how these permissions, what are the meaning of these permissions, right? Now, let me ask you this question. What is the meaning of permission? Meaning of a permission for a file. Okay. And what is the meaning of a permission for a directory? Yeah. So for a file, I have a read, write, and execute. What is the meaning of read if we are talking for a file? What is the meaning of write if we are talking for a file? Can you explain me? Can you write what is the meaning of read when we say for a file?
We can read the file. We
Right,
can read the content of the file.
right. So basically, when you are reading the content, you say use any editor, right? Or cat command, right? So anything you use to look at what's there inside the file, what's the content of the file. So that is where the read means. What is the meaning of write?
We can edit the file.
Right. Addition the file means, can I modify the contents? Can I add new contents? Can I delete the existing content? Right? Does it include, can I delete the file?
Yes, sir. Maybe.
Can you create or delete a file? It doesn't come under write permission for a file. Because if file doesn't exist, how can it have a permission to create? Right? So creation and deletion are not at the file level permission. It's just the edit. So again, you do the edit using the editor or some cat command, sort of those commands, right? X means, execute means,
Can we execute the file?
execute the file means what?
We can
Sir,
run the file.
Mhm. Yes, Simpana, you were saying something?
sir, after editing the file, the process of saving is known as maybe is called execute.
Soumya?
Yeah, that let's say some process is there, whether that process can use that file or not.
No. If process can use it, it means it will use it for read and write, right? So that comes here. X means, can I execute this file as shell script? Getting this point? Can I execute this file as a shell script? If you don't have the execute permission, you cannot execute it as a shell script. Yes. So suppose I will go to this user bin, and here I'll say ls-ltr ls. So ls has a x permission, execute permission. That is what, when we say ls command, it executes. If I don't have this execute x permission, I cannot run this ls command. It will say permission denied. Yes, we'll see it in detail when we are talking about shell script. But does it make sense?
Yes.
Yes. I cannot run my file which I am creating here, because I'll show you here. If I have any of these files, suppose I want to execute this file as a shell script, I can just say execute it as a shell script. It says permission denied. Why permission denied? Because I don't have execute permission. Yes. Okay. Now let's come to the directory. So directory also have a read, write, execute permissions, right? Now what is the meaning of a read permission for a directory? Can you try? What is a read permission for a directory? It means that, can I look at the content of the directory? What is there inside the directory? What are the files and subdirectories present? Right? And how do you read the directory? Which command do you use?
cd.
ls,
Sorry.
right? ls, it says what are the contents of the file, what are the subdirectories and files are available. That is what the read means. Suppose if I am inside filters, right? I am executing the ls-ltr command. I can see the output. Why? Because for filters, I have the read permission. If I remove this read permission, can I do ls command inside the inside the directory? No. I'll just remove it. I'll tell you this syntax in some time, but now here I don't have the read permission, right? Now I go inside filters and I say ls-ltr. Make sense? Now, since I don't have read permission, it means I can go inside the directory, but I cannot do ls command. It means I can check what's inside this directory. Yes?
Yes, sir.
I'll go back and give it permission so that I can run ls-ltr inside filters. Right? Again, if I say ls-ltr, I can see the output because now I have the read permission. Yes? Now, what is the meaning of write permission for a directory?
Sir, maybe creating files in directory.
Right. Can we create or delete files or or directories inside a directory? Yes. Right means can I create or delete files or subdirectories? Suppose right now I have at filters level, I have the write permission. Right. So it means I can create files and directories inside. That is where I was able to create these files. If I take out this write permission, I'll show you this one. Okay. I will take out the write permission. Okay. So now filter doesn't have the write permission. It doesn't have write permission, right? I'll go inside filters. I can run ls command. Can I touch one file? Touch abc.txt. Can I create a directory here? Right? So write for a directory means can I create or delete a existing file or directory inside the directory? Right? Let me try delete one file rmnames.txt. Again, it said permission because I don't have permission at the directory level to delete a file. Make sense?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I'll go back and give it the permission back to the right so that now what is the meaning of execute for a directory? What is the meaning of execute for a directory? Can I go inside directory or not? It means cd command. Can I go inside this directory or not? That is the meaning of execute a directory. For example, right now it has X permission, right? Filters has X permission, execute permission, right? That is why I could go in. I'll take out this permission. Right? Now filter doesn't have execute permission. I will try to go inside filters. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
So this is what is the meaning of read, write, and execute for a file and for a directory. Any question there?
No.
So if you
No, sir.
understand this, now if you understand this, then file management is easy for you, because now it's just the command that you need to execute to change the permission based on certain conditions. Yes. So now if you look at the permission of a file, it looks like this. Right? So the first three, it is for the owner of the file. Next three are the for the group members, and the last three are for the others. Yes. This is for owner, this is for group members, and this is for the. Any question on this? I think this is clear, right?
Yes.
Yes. Now for read permission, the numeric value for read permission is 4. The execute, you know, numeric value for write permission is 2, and numeric value for execute permission is 1. Okay. So this is the numeric value of read, write, and X. So if you know the octal values, right? So if you are saying in RWX, if I'm looking for the octal value of R, it is 100. Octal value of W, it becomes 010. Octal value of X, it becomes 001 based on the position. The value is 1, else it is 0. And if you convert it into decimal, it becomes 4, and W becomes 2, and X becomes 1. And that is how this is the numeric value of R, W, and X for at when we are talking about the permission. Yes. So what can be a maximum permission for a file?
Triple seven.
That is 777. Why? User will have, owner will have read, write, execute permission. Group member will have read, write, execute permission, and others will have read, write permission. That is the maximum permission for a file. Right? What is the minimum permission for a file? What is the minimum permission for a file? It can be 0, 0. Right? No one has any permission. Right? So it is as good as this file doesn't exist, and it means that anyone can do anything on this file. Right? So never use 777 or 000 for any file or directory, because those will become the universal file or directories. Anyone can do anything. Yeah. Make sense? Now, how to change a permission for a file? So if you have to change the permission of a file, you will run a command called chmod. And what permission you want to give, you want to calculate the numeric value based on read, write, execute. Right? Suppose I have these files, right? Inside filters, I'll go inside filters. And I have these files. Now, what is the permission of this file in numerics? If I have to say, what is the numerical representation of permissions for this file names.txt? It has,
644.
right, 644. Why? Because 4 is read, 2 is W, and 0 is execute. If you see dash, you just replace it with 0, right? 4 plus 2 is 6. Here only 4. Here only 4. So the permission for this file is 644. 6 means for owner, 4 means for group member, last 4 means for others. Right? I want to change the permission to 755. So I will say chmod 755 names.txt. What does it mean 755 means?
Full permission to the owner and read and execute permission to the group
members, yeah,
and same to the others.
Any questions? Soumya, Impana?
No.
No, sir.
So if you just say chmod 755, then you have changed the permission. Yes. If you want to reduce the permission, then you have to give the corresponding number. Right? Suppose you want to give only read to owner and no permissions to others and group members. Then 400. Okay. Only owner has the read permission and no one can do anything about it. Make sense?
Yes.
Now, if you want to change your permissions using chmod command, okay, so chmod command is to change permission. Who can change the permission for a file? Only owner or administrator. Okay. You being a group member or you being others cannot change the permission for a file which you don't own. Make sense? So only owner, if you are the owner, then only you can change the permission, or administrator can change the permission. Yes. Now, this is one method of changing the permission, that is numerical way, that is called the absolute permissions. Okay. So permission can be changed in two ways. One is absolute permission, right? And second one is relative permission. Right? So absolute permission is when you say chmod 755 file name or directory name, whatever. Okay, you want to give, and now you understand when you are changing the permission, you understand what you are giving a permission to someone to do on this file, right? Now let's talk about the relative permission. Sometimes you want to use the relative permission. You don't want to do calculations. You don't want to count what is the number coming up and what number should I give new, right? New number should I give? You don't want to do those calculations. In those cases, you can use the relative permission. So what is the relative permission? In relative permission, you need to follow certain rules. Okay. So here, there are users, right? You say you is a keyword for the owner. Okay. G is the group, uh, symbol for group members. O is a symbol for others. And there is one A, it means all. User, group member, and others, everyone. Okay. How to grant and revoke permissions? You say either plus for grant and minus for revoke. Yes. What permissions can you want to grant and revoke? Then you want to give either read or write or execute. Yes. So now if I have to, I have this file names.txt. What I want to give permission. I want to give write permission only to the owner of the file. I want to give the write permission to the owner of the file. So what will I say? I will say chmod. Owner means what? You. I will say you. I want to give the permission or revoke the permission. I want to give the permission. So I will say plus. What permission I want to give? Write permission. Make sense? This way you are not calculating the numbers. You are not impacting anything. What you are doing? You are just running the operation that you want to give this permission or revoke this permission. This is called your relative way of granting or revoking the permission. Make sense?
Yes.
Yes. What I want to give execute permission to owner, read permissions to group members, and execute permissions to others. In that case, you can give all these three kind of permission in a single command, separated by all the these kind of expressions you have to write separated by comma. Okay, so you can say u plus x, comma, group you want to give the which one, read permission, and others you want to give your another execute permission. So you can write multiple uh, things separated by comma, or if you want that you want to revoke the write permission. So anything, all the operations you can put into a single one. Make sense?
Yes.
So using this way, you can give or revoke the access. This is called your relative way of providing, granting or revoking the access. So if you look at this, now I said u plus x. So now it has the x permission. G plus R, group member have the read permission. Others should have the execute permission, right? And owner should revoke the write permission, right? Suppose I run this chmod command again. Now tell me what will happen. User already has X permission, group has already read permission, others have already execute permission, and user don't have the write permission. Now, if I still execute this command, what will happen? If using your chmod command, if there is no change to the permission, it will not make any change. That's it. It will try to do that. If that is not, if permission is already not there or it's already there, and you are still trying to give it or still trying to revoke it, it will not. It will just come out without any changes. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
This is how you can give your permission. Suppose you want to give permissions, execute permissions to everyone. So you can say a plus x. Simple. You don't have to say u plus x, g plus x, and o plus x. Just say a plus x.
Sir, if we want to give all the permission, then A plus.
Yeah. You want
If
to
you
give
want
all, yeah. If you want to give all the permissions, you can say a plus, tell me,
R,
r
WX.
here. Is this
Yes,
fine? Yes, it is fine. Yeah. You can do that. So everyone has now the read write X permission because you said all plus RWS. If you don't want to say all, let's say you want to revoke from group and others, right? So you can say group others minus. I want to revoke from group and others all the read write execute permission. Yes. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
So this is your relative permission. So if you have to say chmod, and then you can say, I'll just write some example here, right? U plus X and file name. But I don't have to write more examples because now I think you understand this part, right?
Yes, sir.
So now you understand what is the permission, meaning of a permission at file level, what is the meaning of a permission at directory level. And now you understand how to manage your file, what kind of permissions you should keep for a file or a directory, right? And once you understand it, then you know also how to grant or revoke the accesses, right? So using the chmod command, right? And there are two different ways. Either you can give it absolute or you can give the relative permissions. So it's up to you what you want to use. Nothing is right or wrong. It's up to you completely. Yeah. Now, I have one question. What is the default permission for a file and directory? So when you create a file and directory, then what is the default permission? And I have another question. And who decides the default permission? Right? Now, did you ever notice what is the default permission for a file or directory? No, yes. So
No, sir.
let me show you here. I'll say I'll create one file. Okay. Uh, touch. I'll touch one file called F1. What is the default permission for a file? In numeric, if I have to say what is the default permission for a file?
644.
Right? When I create a directory, what is the default permission for a directory?
755.
So default permission for a file is usually 644 and default permission for a directory is 755. Yes. Now, who decides this default permission? Can I decide that a file that I'm creating, it should have some different permission, not 644 and 755, right? Then in that case, you need to understand two things. One, what is the maximum permission with, with which a file can create it? A file can be created. Okay. And what is the maximum permission with which a directory can be? A file can be created with a maximum permission of 666. You cannot create a file with a permission of 777 or more than 666 for anyone. The maximum permission that you can create for a directory is 75777. Make sense? And one more point you should always remember is you cannot create a file. You cannot create a file with execute permission. You cannot create a file with execute permission. You can create directories with execute permissions, but you cannot create a file with execute. Okay. So now I said what is the maximum permission with which a file can be created is 666 and a directory is 777. But here I am seeing it is created with 644 and 75. Then who is deciding it? There is one concept in Unix called umask. Okay. So if you look at the value of umask, I'll just say umask. It's not a variable. Okay. It's a function, you can say. Okay. It's a umask, and the value of umask is 0022. You just read it the last three terms, 02. Okay. So the umask default value is 022. That is industry accepted value. That is the most secure value for any Unix file system permissions. That is why they have kept it defaulted to 022. Any Unix system you log in, you will find it 02. Okay. Now, how the permissions are decided at the creation time? So I'll say creation time permissions is equal to what is the max permission for file or directory, right? Minus umask, right? So when you create a file, what will be the maximum permission for a file? That will be, sorry, what will be the default permission for a file with which it will be created? It will be 666 because that is your maximum permission, right? And minus umask value. Umask value is 02. So you will create a file with 644. Yes. When you create a directory, that time your maximum directory permission is 777 minus 02. You will create a directory with 7. Do you see this? Right? So when we created a file with 644, and when we create a directory with 75. And that is because of the umask value. Make sense? Yeah. Can I change the umask value so that I can create files and directories with different permission? Yes. You can say, let's say I say umask is 044. Okay. When you want to set the value of umask, you say umask space 044. You are passing it as an argument. And if you look at the value of umask, it is now 044. Now tell me, if I create a file called f2, what will be the permission for this file?
622.
62. Anyone has any confusion? Soumya, Impana?
No.
Right? Now if you
No,
create
sir.
a file called f2, it will have a permission as 62. Right? And if I create a directory, what will be the permission for a directory with 044? You must value?
755.
No.
733.
7. Right? So when you create a directory, it will be 7, 3. Make sense?
Yes.
Now, I'll come to this point that you cannot create a file with execute permission. Right? I'll show you this example. Suppose I say my umask value is 033. I can set it umask value 033. Right? Now, if I touch one file, F3, tell me what will be the default permission for a file?
633.
633. But 33 means what? write and execute,
Yes, sir.
right? So 3 means write and execute. I said file cannot be created with execute permission. In that case, what will happen is, if my umask value is 3, right? In that case, 033, the file that you create, it will be 666 minus 033, that is equal to 633. It cannot create with 33, so it will increment this number by 1 internally. So it will create your files with 64. Make sense? And when it is creating a directories, the directory will be created with 777 minus 033, which is 74. Make sense? So this is how it happens. So now I have set it 033. I am touching this file F3. And if you look at the permissions of this file, this is 644. Okay. And if I am creating a directory, then it will be 744. Does it make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So there are few things that you need to understand while you are playing with the umask value, right? So umask, you can, when you are setting the umask value, always think about that I cannot create a file with execute permission. Okay. So if you want to change umask, then put it a value where you are not creating an execute permission. If you are creating an execute permission, then by default it will add it one number. It will add one to the permission if execute permission was to be given. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
This is all about your file management. Okay. So here, what is the meaning of permissions for a file? What is the meaning of permission of a directory? What are the attributes? We have seen it. Max permission for a file, max permission for a directory, and default permissions, how it is set, right? And we have seen the chmod command. We have changed it using the numbers, using the specific attributes relative permissions. And yeah, we can change the permissions recursively also. Recursively means under a directory, you want to change permission for all the files and directories. Okay. So you can do that. So how can you do this is, suppose under filters, I have so many files and directories which do not have, which have some permission. I want to give everyone, let's say 755. I want to give permission 755 to everyone inside filter. So I'll go outside. I will say chmod. I will use capital R. It means I want to give this permission recursively. Okay. I will say 755 and I will say filters. So what will happen now if I go inside filters? I will see all the files have the permission, files and directories have the permission as 755. Make sense?
Yes.
So this is your chmod -r, and then you give the directory. So all files and subdirectories -r, then you give the permission. Let's say 755 or whatever. Every files and subdirectory will have 755. Okay. And the last thing is change default mode for a file or directory. So that we can do using the you must query. Any questions on this file management?
No.
No, sir.
No, sir.
So now let's move to the next topic, process, Unix process management. Okay. So we'll take some 10-15 minutes break and we'll continue. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
yeah, so we'll take 15 minutes. We'll be back at 8:05 and we'll start. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
In the meantime, you can also take some questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, are you there?
Yeah, I got it.
Yes, sir.
I am late. I'll delete this F1, F2, and F3 here. dir E1. So now let's talk about the Unix process. Impna, you are also there, right?
Yeah, sir, I'm there.
So what is a Unix process? What is a process? Process is nothing but it's a command at execution, right? So if you are running some job at running time, it is called a process. Okay. So in Unix, whenever you are running one, so let's say you are running one command called ls. It's a process. At the time of running the command, it's a process. And every process in Unix has one unique ID. Okay. It has a unique ID. And what is that unique ID called? It is called PID or process ID. Okay. So any command that you execute, it has a unique process ID. So when I'm saying every command, it means that every process, it means that when you log in to a terminal, you see the dollar prompt, right? You see the dollar prompt. And this dollar prompt you are seeing and you are able to run this on this dollar prompt because of some process which is running in the behind, which is a shell, right? So shell is a process which is running and it is giving you an interface to run your commands. So I want to know that, and I have said that every process has a process ID. Then what is the process ID of my shell? The cell which I am running, what is the process ID of this cell, right? So it you can see using one variable called $. So $, it tells you what is the process ID for your shell. Okay. So for my shell, process ID is 20. So if I have to say process ID of a shell, it can be found out using the shell variable called $. Okay. I want to know what is my type of shell. You can say echo $shell. So shell is another environment variable which talks about the, just one second. So it talks about what is your type of shell. So if you say echo $shell, it will tell you that it's a bash, right? Remember we spoke about what are the different kind of shells, right? We spoke about 4 different type of shell: Bourne shell, C shell, KSH, and bash. So this is what we are working on is right now bash. Yes. And this is your process ID. Now I want to look at the process ID of all the process that I'm running into my shell. For that, the command is ps. PS is a command that tells you what is the process ID, right? So it says your current shell is bash. So for bash, the process ID is 21. And that is what we saw using the $. So for in this table, you see PID, it's a process ID. TTY, it says what is your terminal number. Time means it's a CPU time, how much CPU time it has taken. And CMD means what is the command, right? So if I want to know what is my process, what if you run PS command, it gives you all the jobs that you are running. It will give you a list of all the jobs process IDs. Okay. Now, I want to know this TTY is showing TT2, TTY2. I want to confirm that I am on terminal 2. How to make sure I'm on terminal 2? Yeah, Megha, you were saying something?
TTY.
Yeah. So just run TTY command. So TTY command it tells you what is your terminal. So when you say TTY, it says your terminal number is TTY2. That is what it is saying on TTY2. At that time, we were running one bash, and under bash, we had run the PS command. So PS command is also a process. So this process also has one process ID, right? So like in file system, every file that you create, it has a directory. It has a parent directory, right? Every directory that you create, every directory has a parent directory, right? Similarly, in process, every process has a parent process. So it's a chain of the processes. Now, but in this table, we are not seeing the parent process details, right? So for that, you need to use the option ps-f. F is a full listing of your process. So it will give you little bigger table. It will say what is your user ID, under which user ID this process is running, what is the process ID, and what is the parent process ID. PPID is parent process ID. Yes. And then you have the C. C means CPU time, how much CPU time it has taken. S time, when this process got started. So 604 it is showing that bash started morning 604 and PS command it started at 8:13. So today it is now 8:14. It is showing I started this process at 8:13. From which terminal I am running and how much is the CPU time it has taken and what is the command. Make sense? Yes?
Yes.
Yeah. So it means that the PS command that I executed, it has a process ID 367. Its parent process ID is 21. And what is the, which process is 21? 21 is nothing but my shell. So all the process which I am running in my shell, they ultimately become the child process of my shell process. Make sense? Now we are talking about the parent process ID of my shell, which is 20. Now 20 belongs to whom? I want to understand. In that case, you can use one more option called E. E will tell you the full hierarchy from init. I told you when we were talking about the inode concept, right? The boot block, it starts the very first process is called init, right? So here, if you look at the ps-ef, the command that I have executed, it itself is a process. Its process ID is 368. And the parent of this process ID is 21, which is my shell. Shell is the child of 20. 20 is nothing but the init, which is owned by the root. These two are owned by me, Gaurav, as a user, but this init is owned by the root. This init is again, it's a child process, right? It again is a child process of another init, which is from the root. So for init, always the process ID will be 1. Yes. And here you are seeing one more Gaurav from TT1, right? Why? Because I have opened 2 terminals here. And this is TT1. I'll exit from here, right? And then it will be little better for you to understand. Now if I run ps-f, then this one will go, TT1 will go away. Okay, along with this init.
Sir, what is this UID? User.
Yeah, this is the username under which I have logged in. My username is Gaurav, right? So this is your UID, which is saying that which user is running those process. So basically ps-e it tells me all the process which is running on the server. Okay, and on the server when it is showing, it means that it will include me a list of all the user processes. So this is an indication that which user is running what process. Make sense?
Yes.
So if you say just ps command, if you just say ps command, it tells you current user process ID, process details, right? If you say ps-f, it tells current user process details, uh, full details, full process details, I will say. Includes parent, process ID and all those stuff, right? And when you say ps-e, if you add one option E, right, it tells you the processes list from the server for all users. Yeah? So that is where it is showing you the username. Make sense? Yeah?
Yes.
So this is where you can see you can run multiple processes in your shell and you can look at. So for example, okay, I'll show that little later. But so far it is okay, right? It's good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now let's talk about what are the different types of processes. We were talking about multitasking, right? In the beginning.
Yes, sir.
So here we'll talk
Round
about the
robin.
type of process. Yes?
Round robin.
No, foreground process and the background process.
Okay.
Right? Round robin is a mechanism to run the jobs. Right? So we'll talk about foreground process and second we'll talk about the background process. Now, what is a foreground process and what is a background process and how do we run it? Yeah. So here, when we are running, let's say one command called sleep 10, it means that I am sleeping for 10 seconds. 10 means default is 10 seconds. I'm running it for 10 seconds. It means that I will keep on waiting for 10 seconds to see my dollar prompt to run my next command. Okay. So these kind of process are called foreground process. What is this called? Foreground process. Foreground process means you execute a process, you wait for it to complete. Once it is complete, then it will show you the dollar prompt. Yes. So with foreground process, you wait for process to complete before you can run a next job. Background process is you immediately see the you immediately get the dollar prompt to run another job, another process. So how to run your dollar background process? You say ampersand in the end of your command. Whatever the command you are giving, in the end you put ampersand. It means you are running it as a background process. Okay. And when you press enter, immediately you will see your dollar prompt. Now, if you see the ps command, it will tell you that, or I'll say ps-f. Okay. It will tell you that you are running ps command. Yes. Apart from that, you are running one sleep command. Right. PS command process ID is 378 and it's a child of 21. 21 is nothing but your shell. Right. Now 376 is a sleep command which is running in the under 21. Parent process ID is 21 and 21 is again your bash. So whatever the foreground or background process you execute, they are the child process of your current shell. Make sense?
Yes.
Whenever you run your job in your background, right? Whenever you run your jobs in background, you will see something like this, 1376 or something. What does it mean is 376 is nothing but your process ID for this command. So this command also has one process ID, right? This is your process ID. And one is your background job ID. One is background job ID and 376 your process ID, right? So when I run this here, um, here one is nothing but your background job ID and 376 is your process ID. So PS will tell you this process ID. So when I run this PS command, it is giving me this process ID, which is 376. How to get this one? You run the jobs command, because by now the job would have completed. So if I run jobs command, it will not show me anything. If I run, let's say sleep 10 once again, right? Sorry, I have run in the foreground. So I'll just wait for 10 seconds. I'll run it in the background. And now if I run in the jobs, it will give you a list of all the jobs which are running in background. If you have run, let's say sleep 20, right? Sleep 30, sleep 40, right? So you are getting number getting incremented. This is the second job, this is the third background job, this is the fourth background job, and they have one PS. So if I look at jobs, I will say that 3 jobs are running in the background right now. If I say PS, it tells me one job got completed. That's why it's saying done, but it is running the 2 other sleep. And they have the respective process ID 382 and 383. Make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you, the PS command will help you to get you list of all the running jobs, background or foreground, whatever it is. Jobs will tell you a list of all the background jobs which is running. Make sense? Yeah.
Yes.
So this is your jobs. Now, when you run one a job in foreground background, there is a drawback. There is a drawback. What is a drawback? Suppose you have a job, okay, you have some command and it takes, let's say, 3 hours to complete. Okay, suppose you are running some job which is doing lots of stuffs internally, doing lots of processing very huge data, and it normally takes 3 hours to complete. Okay, so what is the best time to run this job as per you? Do you want to run it as soon as you get inside the office, or you want to run it before leaving the office?
As soon as getting
Pardon?
as soon as we get into the office.
Yes. So, so probably most of the time you want to run these jobs when you are leaving the job office, because that time what you want, you run this job and next day morning you just see what is the status. If you run in the morning, what is happening? You will keep on nagging for 3 hours. What is happening? What has happened? Is it complete or not? Right? So you want to run it for 3 hours, and you are leaving. You are running it while you are leaving the office. Right? Now what happens? Next day morning you come back, you see the job is completed, and you check the logs and you see everything is fine, good. But let's say when you run the job before leaving the office, and for some reason your session is terminated for some reason, maybe power failure, maybe network issue, maybe something. Your session is terminated. What will happen to this job which is running in your background? It will also be terminated. Okay, because your job is associated with the session. If parent session, so parent job for this job is parent session, right? If session is terminated, all its child jobs will be terminated, right? So this is a drawback, that if you are running some job in your background and for some reason you lose your connections, then your job will be terminated immediately. What I want, that even though my session terminates, still my job should be running. Even my session terminates, my job should be running. So in that case, you run this job using no hub. No hub. No hub, and then you see, give the full command, and in the end you say the ampersand. That is where you run your job in the background. In this way, even your session is terminated, your job will not be terminated. It will keep on running and it will finish. So which is a secure way to run your job?
No hub.
No.
Using no hub.
So whenever you run using a job, let's say no hub, you say no hub and then you say your command, let's say sleep 60, and then you run it in the background. Okay. Now if you run it, what will it do is, as soon as you run this job, it will create one file called nohub.out, and this will have the log of your job which is running. If it is creating any logs, those logs will be stored in this file, and next day morning you can come and check the logs, right? And this job will keep on running till even your session is terminated.
Sir, this timing is in the seconds, right?
Yes, it is in seconds. If you want to give it in minutes, you can simply say sleep 1 m minutes or 5 m 5 minutes, something like that. Okay.
Hours?
Hours I have never tried.
Because you
But
told 3
yeah.
hours.
No, no. So when I said 3 hours means the job is going to take 3 hours, right? But usually don't run for 3 hours. I think it will work 5 hours. Yeah, it will run for 5 hours.
Oh,
Okay. So for minute I have run multiple times. Yes, that's why I know, but hours I have never run it because I don't have to sleep someone for so many hours. Yeah. And I'll give you an example where you use this sleep command. Okay. Any questions so far?
No, sir.
sir, I have a doubt.
Yeah.
Here, the work has to done for 3 hours. It has to run for 3 hours, right,
Mm-hmm.
sir?
Mm-hmm.
If you give sleep for a minute, after sleeping, it will mean session will stop. After opening, then only the work will run, right, sir?
I didn't get your
Yes.
question.
Sir, now the work will finish after 3 hours, right?
Correct.
It will take 3 hours to complete the work.
Right.
If we give uh, 10 seconds or 10 minutes sleep,
Uh-huh.
then it will run for 10 minutes and it
Mm-hmm.
will stop the work.
Uh-huh.
Then after we open, it will run for 2 hours 50 minutes, right, sir? In the background.
No, 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 no. So this sleep command is separate command.
Okay.
And this job may be your some job. Maybe, for example, you are loading some file into database, right? Or maybe you are running some your analytics job,
Um,
right? Suppose you are running some job in Python. right? So you have a full command here, right? So that command you are running where? You are running on the dollar prompt, right? And you run this in your background, right? And you say no hub, right? So what is going to happen? This Python command, which is doing lots of analytics and it will run for 3 hours, right?
Okay.
So even though your session will be terminated, this command will not terminate. It will complete successfully.
Okay. That's
Make
if
sense?
it sleeps 10 after 10 minutes also, but it will run
Right.
for 3 hours.
Right.
Okay.
Any questions, Soumya, Impana?
No, God.
So now we understand that if we have to run some jobs in foreground or background, how to run it, right? And in background, we can run in two ways. One, we just run with the ampersand, right? Or second one is using the no hub, right? So we understand what is the difference between these two. No hub means even though your session is terminated, still your job will keep on running. Yeah. Any questions? No.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's talk about some of the process management stuff. Okay. So let's say you are running one job. Okay. You are running a job and you want to, let's say, okay, you have run this job in foreground. Okay. Let's say sleep, let's say 200 seconds it will run. For 3 minutes it will run. Okay. I have run it in the foreground. After running this job, I realized, oh no, I could have run it in the background, right? Because it will take so long time. Now I have to wait for some time before it completes, right? So how to send it to background job? One way is I kill this job, right? And then run it again in the background, right? Second way is you press Control Z. When you press Control Z, it sends your job in the background. If you look at PS now, this sleep command is still running, right? But it is running in your background. If I look at the jobs, it is saying that it is running in the background. But whenever you press Control Z, it goes into the background in the stop state. It goes in the background state in a stop state. So we need to run it. So you run the command called bg. bg is run the background job. Okay. Now if you look at the jobs, it is running. Make sense? Yes.
Yes, God.
When
So
you are
what is
running,
the
yeah,
command to kill the job?
I'll come to it. Yeah. So when you are running a job and you want to send it to background, in that case, you can press Control Z. Don't press Control C, Control D, anything else. Press Control Z. What will it do? It sends the job in background in stopped state or suspended state. Okay. It will not, it's, or rather term is it's in the halt state. It's not running. Okay. To start this job, you say BG. BG means I want to run my background. So now your background job is now running in the background and it will keep on running for 200 seconds. And once time is over, it will come. Make sense? Yes.
Gaurav, just one thing. Just one thing I want to ask, like, I mean, where do we use such things like, I mean, I have never seen this type of things.
Yes. Because usually what you do in your job is when you are in such a situation where you have to run multiple jobs, you open multiple terminals,
Correct, correct.
right? So this is a way where you don't open multiple terminals, but you can run multiple jobs in the same terminal.
Okay, got it, sir. Got it.
Yeah. So it was just, you didn't know that you can do in single terminal.
Okay, got it.
Any other questions, Megha, Impana?
No.
No, sir. No questions.
So this is, I am sending a foreground job to background, right? Can I bring one background job to foreground? The job, suppose I'm running in background, I want to bring it to foreground. Can I do that? Right? So let me give you some examples here. So I think it will be over now. Yeah, it is over. Now let's say I will run some commands in background. Okay, I will say cat ampersand. Okay, it is running in the background. I will say wc and I will say ampersand. It will be running in the background. Okay, if I look at ps, I have cat command, I have wc commands, which is running in the background. How to see if it is running in background? I will see the jobs. Okay, they are showing in stopped state because they are waiting for the user input through the keyboard. Right now we have seen these commands, right? When we are talking um, about the streams redirection. Yes, yes, no,
Yes, sir.
yes. Now what I want, I have executed these jobs in the background. I want to bring them into the foreground. How can I bring them to foreground? I can say fg percentile, and after percentile I have to give the number which job I want to bring it. Suppose I want to bring job number 2, I will say percentile 2. Okay, so it will bring my wc job in the foreground. Now with wc, the standard input is my keyboard, so whatever I'll say, do the word count, I need it now. And after that, I press Control D. It will run the word count on these two lines. It will say lines are 2, total 8 words, 32 characters. Make sense? Yes. Uh, Suppose I'll run this job again in the background. Okay. I have run now what? Two jobs are running in background, right? I will run one more job in background. I will say sleep 200. Oh, sorry. I will say sleep 200 in background. Okay. Now what I want to bring this job in the foreground. So I can say FG percentile 1, right? Instead, the job number, I can give the command name. Got it? I can say instead of number, I can also say the command name. So cat has come, right? I say this is my cat command. So it will print it here again. I'll press Control D, it will be finished. Yes. You're getting this? If you have to bring your job from background to foreground, you can either say FG percentile background job number, or you can just say FG percentile command name simply, right? And you can bring it to foreground. Any questions?
No,
Okay. Now, so sending a BG job to foreground, you say just BG percentile 1 or 2, whatever, or you can say BG percentile,
FG no.
sorry, FG, yeah, foreground, FG percentile, you just say the command. Make sense? Now let's come how to kill a job, right? That's the favorite question of Mega, right? How to kill a job. So for killing a job, you can press Control C. Okay. Sometimes Control C doesn't work. You press Control D. Okay. Control D also, it may or may not work. Okay. So Control C, it's to you can say soft kill, and Control D is for the hard kill, but hard kill also doesn't work sometimes. Okay. If you press Control D, it will log out also from the session. Okay. But Control C is just for killing a process, soft kill. It will not take you out from your terminal. Make sense? Suppose I am running this job, sleep 100. Okay, it's running this job, and this job is running in foreground. I want to kill this job. I can press Control C. I pressed Control C, so I can come out. I can press Control D also, but it may or may not work. It's all terminal settings done by the administrator. Okay, here the Control D is not working. Only Control C is working. Okay, so Control C will kill your job. Right? Now, suppose you are running this process WC and you want to kill this job which is running in background. Right? If you want to kill a job which is running in background, how to kill it? So, how to kill a job running in foreground?
Control. Control.
Right? If a job is running in foreground, you can press Control C and Control D. How to kill a job which is running in background? Yeah. Here you cannot press Control C and Control D and kill this job, right? So how to kill this job? One way is bring that job to foreground, right? And then kill it. Yes, no? Yes.
Yes.
How to bring this job to foreground? Let's say I want to bring this 397 this job to foreground. How can I bring it to foreground?
FG percentage W.
Yeah. So I can say FG percentage WC. Yes, that is one way. But I don't want to bring it to foreground. I want to just kill it. Then you can use the command called kill. Kill followed by your process ID, which process you want to kill. Okay, you say 397. Now this kill, again, it may or may not work. Okay, so when you are using kill command with PID, what PID you want to kill? It's a soft kill again, just like Control C. It may or may not kill. Okay, when you say kill 397 and you look at the PS, it terminated. This time it killed it. Okay, but it may not always work. Sometimes if it is not working, you will use kill -9 and then you give the PID. -9 means it's a cyanide kill, right? How you spell it, cyanide kill? I don't know, right? So it's a cyanide kill. You want to kill this process immediately. Then you use the option -9, right? Now, where does this -9 comes? I'll just show you. If you say kill -L, it will give you a list of all the signals using which you can kill the job. Okay, this is signals are used by the shell programmers who are developing very low level programming, so they'll be using it. Okay, so by default when you say kill 397, it uses the signal 15, which is terminate, which is used by the your kill command. It said terminated, right? But when you use number 9, it is a kill process. It's a cyanide kill. It will kill your process then and there. That's it. It will not think that I should kill or not. Make sense?
Yes.
So you can
Yes, sir.
do a soft kill using the kill command, which is same as Control C or Control D. It may or may not work, right? If it doesn't work, then you can try kill -9, and then you can give the process ID. It will kill that process. So for example, if I run this sleep command for let's say 30 seconds in the background, right? I have process ID as 405. I can kill it using -9, 405. So now it said killed. Here it said terminated. There's a difference. Yeah. Any questions?
No, sir.
So this is how you manage your processes. So here we have seen uh, current process cell ID. We have seen foreground and background, how to run foreground process, how to run background process, how to make sure jobs are running even though connection is lost using the no hub, how to convert background process into background process and vice versa. We have seen FG and BG commands, right? How to run background process so that it runs even though current process is closed or killed, right? So this is your know-how. Setting job priority. Setting job priority is not your task. So what is a job priority? I'll tell you. Okay. So jobs priority. So we know that whenever we run login as a normal user, we use the round robin to execute our jobs, right? How does round robin work? It has, let's say, user 1, user 2, right? User 3, and user 1, it takes, let's say, 0.005 millisecond. Then it switches to user 2, it runs for 0.005 milliseconds. Then it halts and runs the third 0.005 milliseconds. This is how it runs, right? You understand this part, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, what is the priority means? If I am, let's say, giving a higher priority to user 2 job, right? If I'm giving a process which is run by user 2 a higher priority, it means that user 1 job will run for 0.005 millisecond. User 2 may run for 0.008 milliseconds. Maybe it will run longer. That is what the priority is, right? If you say I am giving the low priority job, it's a low priority job. In that case, other jobs which are running with normal priority, they'll keep on running. but now it will run maybe 0.002 milliseconds. So it's a lower priority job. Make sense? So when you change the priority, it means you are impacting bit inside your round robin mechanism. Right? So if I say my job priority is high, it means that I will take little more time to execute my job so that it will be finished faster. Right? If it is a low priority, I'll take little less time, CPU time to execute. It means I will take more time to execute. This is what it is on the job priority. Right? Now there is a command called nice. Nice is a command that will change your job priority. But most of the time it is not under control of a developer. Else everyone will give their job a high priority and they'll run it, and your server may go down. Right? So that is where this nice is completely controlled by administrator. If you really have a requirement that you want to change the priority of your job, you just ping administrator, tell him that you want to change your priority of this job. It is going to take 8 hours or 6 hours. If you can make it, give it a high priority, it will finish in 4 hours. And it is business critical. You have to give justification, and that is where administrator will run the nice command, and he will change the priority of your job, and it will take more resources compared to other jobs, and it will finish faster. Any questions, Megha?
No.
Yeah. Soumya, Impana?
No, bro.
No, sir.
But on job priority, one thing is usually in bash, okay, your priority range from -20 to 90. Okay, and default priority for a job is default priority is 0, right? So default priority is 0, and but you can set your priority -20 to 90, right? Higher the priority you give, you you get the more time, resource time. Lower the priority, you give the lower resource time, right? But in some other systems, you may see that it, priority may range from 0 to 40, right? In some system, it is ranging from 0 to 40, and 20 is the default one, right? In some, I have seen 40 to 80 something. It's all, I think, configurable by the admin. Okay. And default is, in this case, I think 60, the middle number, right? So it all depends on administrator, how he wants to keep the settings, what should be the priority range, and default priority will be the middle of the number of that range, and he can increase or decrease the priority using the nice command. Okay. So simply he has to say nice, and I think he has to say the uh, he can run the command here itself. You say that I want to run this command with some higher priority, he will just say nice command name. So by default, your priority will increase by 10. Increases by 10, right? Sometimes you want to increase the priority by 5, then you just say 5. You want to, decrease the priority by 5, you just say 5, right? So these are some of the commands that an administrator will run, and he will set the priority of the jobs. Any confusion?
No, bro.
So,
No,
yeah, so those things. Now, this is your setting the job priority. Now there is a killing or stopping a job. Now we understand, right? Killing a job or stopping a job. Control C, Control D, or you can use the kill command. Then we have the timing the process. You can check how long your process has run. If you want to check how long your process has run, you can simply say that if I say timing the process, right? So you can say time and then you can run your job or you can give the command, right? Suppose I'm running this ls command. I want to understand how much time ls command took. I will say time ls. Okay. So when I say time ls, it will print me the output of time. Time ls will execute and it will give me the output. And time will give me these three things: real, user, and sys. Now let's understand what is real, user, and sys. What is a real time? Real time is the total time taken by the total time taken. Okay, it means when you press enter after writing your command till you get the dollar prompt, how much time it took. That is your real time, right? What is the user time? User time is nothing but the time taken by shell to interpret your command, to check the syntax, to check, to resolve the while characters if it has any, to do a lot of other stuff, right? The shell evaluates it and then it sends to the kernel, right? And sys is nothing but the time taken by the kernel. Okay. Usually what I have seen is sys time is always less than your real time, and that is how it should be, because total time should be your shell time plus kernel time, right? But here I don't know for some reason why it is showing like this. Let me run it once again. Okay. Sorry. It's my mistake. So real time is taken by the kernel. How much actual time it has taken. And system time is taken by the system. How much time it has taken. So if you look at the sys time equal to real time plus user time, right? Is it so? No. Then where is the remaining time? That remaining time is if multiple jobs are running, right? You switch over in the round robin and the remaining time is your waiting time. You get it? Because here user is saying what is the total time it is taken by the shell. It is saying how much time it is kernel has taken to complete it. But what is the wait time? Nobody is telling. So that wait time is by default added to your system time. How much time system took to complete your process. Make sense? Yes, no?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is if you want to just check about the timing about your process, right? So basically when you look at the timing of the process, right? Suppose you are running some job which is running for 3 hours and you run it once and you see there is lot of waiting time. In those cases, you may go to administrator and you can say, I want to give it a higher priority. because the waiting time is too much. And if I give it a higher priority, I can reduce my execution time. And that is where you understand if what priority should I give to this job so that I can achieve this job completion time in this number of minutes or this number of hours. Make sense?
Yes.
So these are interrelated things. Means using the timing of the process, you just look at how much time it is taking, and you look at component level. And based on those, if you are finding there is lots of waiting time, you may go to administrator and ask for to give it a higher priority so that it can complete faster. Your wait time is reduced. Basically, you are just reducing your wait time. That is where your completion time will be increased. It will complete faster. So this is your timing the process. And then I want to talk about the scheduling the job. Okay. We'll continue it tomorrow because it's already 9. Okay. So tomorrow we will be talking about scheduling the job using the cron. Have you heard about cron? How to schedule a job in cron, right?
No.
Have you heard Soumya about this?
No.
Cron. So we'll understand these two things, cron and add tomorrow. Okay. And
So tomorrow is Saturday. Will there be any class?
sorry. Tomorrow
Monday.
there's no class. I have another batch tomorrow morning. Okay. Do you want to have it on Sunday morning?
No. Monday it's fine.
Okay. Then we'll have,
Because,
yeah.
yeah, we need to practice all the things like
Yes.
whatever we missed.
Yeah. So we can have our next session on Monday, and that's where we'll talk about the scheduling of the process, how to schedule a job.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Okay.
so far any questions on these things? You just do some practice and look at any questions if you can come up, and we'll talk on Monday morning and I'll try to clarify those, and we'll continue with the scheduling jobs. Yeah.
Okay.
Then you
Okay.
have 2 days break. You can sleep little longer and take some rest. And also, if you get time, do some practice. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, then see you on Monday morning at 6 a.m. Yeah. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Gaurav.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.